To infinity. To infinity. Okay, now, you have to understand something. See, back like 20 years ago, there's this guy, and this guy, his name was Frank. And Frank, he wanted to know what people's secrets were, okay? Because infinity is a very, very long time to carry something. Because infinity, it means forever, so that's a long time. And so, all these people, he knew that they were carrying something. He knew that people were carrying a secret that they did not know how to get out there. And so Frank, he wanted to hear other people's secrets. And he didn't want to know their names. He just wanted to know what people were holding on to that they felt like they had to hold on to forever. So one day, Frank, he took like 500 postcards and he sent them around New York, just asking, hey, tell me your secret. And then within a month, this dude got over 2,000 secrets back. 2,000. And some of those secrets he received, he put them in this book called Post Secrets. Now, I understand that this right now is a middle school crowd, okay? And this book is like, it's kind of PG-13-ish. So, because when we talk about people's secrets, your secret has no rating. Your secret is what it is. It's something that you're keeping because for some, you feel ashamed. For others of you, you feel anger by it. And for some, you feel like your secret makes it so no one will understand you and you have to hide carrying it forever. And see, this is some of the secrets that Frank, he received back. Let's go to the first secret. This one says, while others pray at church, I bow my head and think about the TV programs I plan on watching. Okay, that is a very weird secret, but let's be honest. There are some of you in here, you know that feeling. You're like, when I get home, I'm gonna watch Paw Patrol. I don't know what you're into, okay? You can still be in the, or I'm gonna watch Bluey, okay? I don't know. Just saying. All right, let's go to the next secret. In 4th grade, my friend made me laugh so hard, I actually pooped my pants. We're still friends, and she never told me one. Okay, how many of you have a friend that they would be like, I'm not going to tell your poop story. That's between us. Anybody have a friend like that? Okay, you keep that friend forever, okay? That's a good friend right there. All right, next one. It says, people think I've stopped lying, but I've just gotten better at it. And I don't care if we are at a church camp, and I know for some of you in here, this is very, very true because some of us are, you know what? All of us try to lie to fit the picture that we think people want to see about ourselves. That is something that you should not have to hold on to. Because I promise you, every single person in here, you have sin in your life. Everybody does. I have sin in my life. And that is why we are here right now. Because to God, that is not a secret. And that's why he sent Jesus. That's why we call him our shepherd. Because we may not know what the rest of the flock thinks, but we know what our shepherd thinks, and our shepherd says, you come to me. I will lead you out. But we still feel like we have to hold that. Or we'll go to the next one. I'm a firefighter, and I'm afraid the day might come when I'm not as brave as I'm supposed to be. It is really difficult. For some of you, maybe you're not a firefighter, but maybe for some in here, your parents, they're like, hey, you better get that A, because some of you already know, I want to be a doctor, I want to do this thing, and then sometimes we think, man, if I don't get that A, then maybe my parents aren't going to love me. Maybe they're going to think bad about me. If I don't get on this team, then who am I really to everybody else? That's a hard thing to try to live up to someone else's expectations of you. And you get scared. And when you get scared, what do? You you run away. And for some, you run away emotionally. For others of you, you run away even physically. And even though we're here at a church camp, some of you run away spiritually. And what does it mean to run away spiritually? It means this. I read my Bible. No, you don't. Hey, I have all great Christian friends. You don't have one. Because you don't want to be honest. And you have fake relationships. What's a fake relationship? Fake relationship says, you tell me, and I'm here for you as a friend, but I can't tell you what's inside of me. A relationship, for some of you, you feel like it only goes one way because it's really hard to trust people when you feel like they're going to judge you. Matter of fact, this is what I would like to do. There we go. I want to know what your secret is. I want to know the secrets that some of you are holding in this room. So here's what we're going to do. Right now, I need an adult. Ma'am, you look like you're older than 13. Can you help me out real quick? Only 15 at most. So here's what I have in here. I have a note card and a pen, okay? I'm going to hand this to you right now. Now, in a moment, there's probably like 30 of them in here. I want 30 students in a moment. I want you to come up, and I want you to get a note card and a pen from her, okay? Do not fight her. Do not punch her, because then it's going to become a healing service. So I want you, during this time, I want you to write down your secret. I don't want to know your name. I don't want to know where you come from. All I want to know is your secret. We only need about 30 students, okay? And there should be enough pens in there for the note cards. And at one point, I'm going to ask you to bring them back. It could be something funny, but obviously, I'm looking for something that's kind of serious or serious, okay? Not going to read your handwriting. Not going to try to, like, FBI, who wrote this. That's not even a term. But I just want to know your secret. Need 30 students. 1, 2, 3, go, 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 go. All right. All right, once you get it, you got to go back. You got to go back once you get it. All right, don't push, because some of you are already creating new secrets. I accidentally punched somebody in the line to get a secret card. All right, once you got it, got to go back. You got to go back. Once you get it, there should be a pin in there, enough for everybody. Here you go, little girl, that's a pin. I don't know if you're really a little girl, you're a little girl. Yeah, you're 13? Oh, see, yeah. She doesn't know. She's a little girl. All right. Now, as you all are writing out your secret, I am going to tell you a secret that I have, okay? We're going to make this very, very fair. Now, as we're doing this, are we done? Did we give out all of them? Not yet. How many do we have left? Man, I don't even have that much time, man. Okay, go, the little short Joe Pesci. They don't know who Joe Pesci is. All right, you got a pen, now go. Now tell everybody, go back to your seat, go back to your seat. All right, go back to your seat. Remember, you got to write down your secret, and then, I am so sorry, leader person, what is your name? Shalene? Oh, okay. She money. All right. Now, I will tell you my secret. Now, for me, you have to understand. I had my friend Peter. And Peter and I, back in the day, we were like best friends. We did everything together. Like, we were together so much, everybody was just like, man, it's almost like you guys are twins. I know he's white, you're black, but you're twins. Salt and pepper's here. And so Peter and I, we would go and we'd do all sorts of things. And then every single morning, we would like chill out at each other's locker and like wait to get to class. And then there was one day, we're sitting there, we're chilling out. And then all of a sudden, Lindsay Anderson comes walking by. Now, I got to stop using real people's names. I'm sure she's nice. But the minute that Lindsay walked by, we were like, whoa, man. Like, Lindsay was hot. And so we knew one of us needed to talk to Lindsay. And Peter, he was just like, Terrance, you got to talk to the last girl. I was like, look, man, the last girl, she tried to bite me. It was a really weird situation. So we did what every person, every friend does when they have a disagreement with their friend. We paper, rock, scissors. That's right. Paper, rock, scissors. So we're sitting there, we're like, 1, 2, 3, and I had won it. I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk to Lindsay. Now, I remember Lindsay, she was in my economics class. And so I remember I'm sitting there. She's sitting down the row. I'm like, all right, I'm going to talk to Lindsay. So I got a piece of paper, and I began to write her a note. Now, back in the day, we did not have cell phones. We couldn't text somebody. We had to write them a note. And so I got a note, and I was like, Lindsay, do you like me? Circle yes or no, because you got to let people know what you want them to do. And so I took that note and I folded it up in that special kind of way, and I sent it down the row. And I was like, yeah, give it to that girl. No, not you, the other girl. I don't like you. And then, of course, Lindsay, she got it. She looked at it. She waved at me. And I was just like, you go, girl, you go. And so Lindsay, she read it. All of a sudden, she took out a pen, and she began to write. And I'm like, whoa, Lindsay, I don't want to read your writing. I just want to read your circles. You don't need to write anything. And then all of a sudden, took the note, folded it up in that special kind of way, and she sent it down the row. And I was just like, give me my note, give me my note, give me my note. And I got the note, opened it up, and it said, Terrance, if you want to know the answer to that, you have got to call me. And I said, wow, Lindsay, hold on. I am a 15-year-old boy. When I get nervous, my voice sounds like it is possessed. And I'm like, you know what, Terrance, you could do this. Just call her up. Just be like, hey, girl. I was like, ooh, too black. Pull it back. Then I began to dial her up on the phone. We had older phones back in the day. And then all of a sudden I heard, hello? I'm like, hey, Lindsay. She's like, who is this? I'm like, sorry, Lindsay, this is Terrance. I'm really nervous right now. Will you want to go out with me? And then there was this long pause, and then all of a sudden I heard, Terrance, I would love to go out with you. And so I did that dance that you do when no one's looking at you. And I'm like, hey, oh. And so Lindsay and I, we started to go out, and we did everything you do when you first start going out with somebody. We would meet each other by our lockers, and then we would walk hands in hands to our class. And then when it was time to go to separate classes, I was just like, girl, I'm going to miss you. It's going to be a long 30 minutes, but I'm going to miss you. And then for lunch, we would come back together, and we would share our mashed potatoes. And then, of course, at night, we would talk on the phone so much that we'd even have nothing to say to each other. I was just like, just breathe, girl, just breathe. I just want to hear you breathe. And then finally, I knew that Lindsay was the one for me, and I did what every person does when they knew they found the one. I introduced her to my mom. And I'm like, Mom, I know I'm only 15 years old, but this is the girl. This is the girl I'm going to marry. And she goes, you're stupid. But I didn't care. Lindsay was the one for me. And after a glorious month-and-a-half relationship, remember, got to school. One day she is standing by my locker, walk up to her. She doesn't say anything. She just hands me a note. And the moment I take the note, she goes, don't tell anyone until you get to class. Then you can read it. And I'm like, of course. So I got to class, opened up that note, and it said, Terrance, I like you, but I don't want to go out with you no more. And I am crushed. And I'm like, oh my goodness, why did she break up with me? I got to find out what happened. And I'm like, oh, my friend Peter, maybe Peter knows something I don't know. And so as soon as class is done, I'm running out my classroom. I see Peter walking down the hallway. I'm like, Peter, hey man, Lindsay, she gave me this note. I don't know what's going on. And then Peter got this weird look on his face, and he goes, Terrance, I'm sorry. I really like Lindsay. I'm sorry. I know. You feel my pain, brother. And I remember I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. Here it is. I thought I had found this person, and of course, I thought Peter was my best friend, and they totally betrayed me. And so, you want to know what my secret was? I took that pain, and I took that hurt, and I stuffed it down. And I used it as an excuse to not let anybody know Terrance. And I said, this is what happens when you trust people. They'll hurt you. And so I made sure nobody would ever hurt me again. But I did not realize how big of an impact that had on my life. When you hold on to a secret, it kills you. Why is Psalm 23:4 so important? Let's pull it up real quick. Or Psalm 24:3. 23:4. Even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you were with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Rod and staff, they comfort me. Jesus, basically, they're writing, they're saying, hey, look, you're going to walk through those valleys, and sometimes life is really dark. Let me tell you guys, life is pretty dark sometimes, and it can get lonely pretty fast. And you got to hold on to something. Nobody can deal with everything by themselves. It's impossible. But instead of taking my word for it, matter of fact, let's hear from some other people. So, She Money, you come here. Now, everybody that wrote on a card, I need you to bring it to her right now. If you wrote on the card, bring it to her. Bro. All right. Now, I want everybody to know, oh man, that I do not know what everybody wrote down. I do not know what some people are hiding in this room right now. But, number one, if I read a secret and you know who I'm talking about, don't you dare call them out, okay? This is not tell and tell time. Tell and tell, that's not even a thing. No, this is a, hey, look, we are the church. And if you've never been a part of a church camp, you don't know a lot about church. Basically, when we say Little C Church, that is like the church you go to. When we say Big C Church, that is like all of us, all who know and follow Jesus, we are the Big C Church. Right now, we are the Big C Church. And in the Big C Church, we do not go after people. Jesus does that. And he does that in love. And if you don't have love in your heart, if you do not have the love of Jesus, don't you go after someone. So, I'm going to take this. There is a lot. Holy smokes. All right. So, I'm going to pull one up randomly, just so you guys will know what kind of secrets are in this room. All right, this first one says, my secret is I don't write well. I'm sorry. You know what? You're right. But you don't have to hide that. You could get some help. All right, next one. I set my bathroom on fire playing with the lighter and blamed it on my sister pooping trying to light a candle. That's pretty crazy. All right, let's see here. We're running out of times. All right. Some of you have got really weird secrets. No, I don't got time for all that. That's weird too. Maybe later. Okay. This one says, when I was younger, I was mentally abused. Now, let's be real. It is really easy sometimes to hide abuse. Sometimes, and for a lot of us that have been abused, you don't want to say anything. Why? Because you don't want to get nobody in trouble. And when you think that way, you're putting them over your well-being. You are a son and daughter of God's. No one should ever treat you underneath that. You are God's. Don't let anybody make you think differently. I am sorry if this is your secret. But this is why we need Psalm 23:4. The life is pretty dark sometimes, and we got to be able to go someplace. Sometimes when we're going down that lonely road of saying, if I say something, people, they're gonna judge me, or somebody's gonna get in trouble. But God says, no, follow me. Follow me. Or another secret in here. Uh, um, I don't like this one. It says, I'm afraid Jesus won't accept me. I I will give whatever I got to give to let anybody in this room know that no matter what sin you have, no matter what you are dealing with, Jesus not only loves you, but he accepts you. And that is why we're here. See, there are a lot of things and people that will try to tell you something different. They will try to say, no, that's not true. You can't trust the church with the things that you're going through. Or, hey, if you're dealing with this inside, they don't understand, but you can trust me. No. This is why in John 10:11, Jesus, he even talks about it like, hey, there's some other shepherds out there, but they're not real. They are going to try to trick you, but you need to listen to me. I love you. Why does Jesus, how did he do that? He showed you because he gave his life for you. And there is nothing more that you can do to show someone that you love them until you give your life for them. And Jesus says, don't worry. I really do love you. And Jesus, he did not die for the little sins. He didn't die for the kids that get straight A's. He didn't just die for the people in here that only sin like once in every 4 years. No, he died for the small sins and the big sins alike. And you know what the thing is about grace is we all need the same amount of it. Every single one of us need as much Jesus as we can get, and he can give you everything. He can give you enough to save you. See, look, this is what we believe. We believe that God came down to earth and he wrapped himself in skin, and that was Jesus Christ. But there were people that did not believe Jesus was the Son of God. There were people that doubted him. So what did they do? They wanted to kill him. They just used him as an example of saying, see, this is not the real thing. And so they took Jesus and they put him on a cross and they nailed him to that cross. Now, Jesus, he did not let them do that to him because he was a weak Jesus. No, he let them do that because he said, you know what? I know that everybody's going to say that, hey, you're going to have to come to me to know God. But Jesus goes, no, God, I'm here. And I will bridge that gap for you. So I will die because everybody in here, your sins, it says, your sin will give birth to death. We all deserve to die for the things that we've done. But Jesus says, no, I will die. I will take that punishment for you. And so they killed Jesus. But the cool thing about it was, Jesus, he rose again 3 days later. 3 days later, he came back. Now, this was not like a zombie Jesus. This was not like a brains. No, this was the real deal Jesus. He even came with the holes in his hands, and he said, look, I defeated death, so you don't ever have to worry about that. And then Jesus, he left, and he said, don't worry, I have another one coming. And that was the Holy Spirit. And the great thing about that is that this Jesus that we read about in the Bible, that now is a Jesus that is out here for every single one of us. He gives his Holy Spirit to every single one of us. So it's not like, hey, this just happened to the people in the Bible. No, it can happen to you tonight. And all you have to do is be ready and open. No matter what your secret is, Jesus says, you come, I will help you out. I will lead you out. Because when we're holding on to things, there's a lot of different places that we run to. We can run into a cave of shame. We can run into a cave of anxiety. We can run into a cave and like isolation. We can run to all these different caves and think, you know what, I can't tell this secret that I'm holding about that. But that's not true. And the awesome thing about it is for every single person in this room, I know that you have a leader in this room. And every single leader, listen to me, you are not here by accident. God placed you here for a reason. And God shows his love through the people who love him. Jesus does not, I'm not sitting here and saying, and you know Jesus is real because he gives you a tickle in your tummy. Nope. He might. I don't know. But he shows his love through the people that love him and serve him. And that is why your leaders are here, to show you that same kind of love. And we just have to be honest, and we have to be ready to be pulled out of that cave, and they're there to help do that. Because when it says in Psalm, his rod and his staff comfort me, that staff, this staff right here, that is all about helping to lead you, saying, come on, let's go this way. But this rod, this is for the fight. This is for the discipline, so that when those things come, when that anxiety, when that anger comes off, Jesus is like, no, I got you. Let's do this. He doesn't run away from the things that you were scared of. He goes and he fights it, and he says, I got you. Let's go. Last thing I'll tell you guys is there's this story that happened just a couple of summers ago, and it was about this kid named Chris. And Chris, he loved the water. And this was in the news, and Chris, he loved the water. He loved being out on the water, and so his dad would always try to bring him around water. But the thing about it was that Chris, he was autistic, and so he couldn't communicate with people that well. But his dad found out that his son, he loved watching movies. And so one of the ways that his dad found out that he can communicate with his son, Chris, was by saying movie quotes. And one of his favorite movies was Toy Story. And so one day they were out in the water. All of a sudden, the current swoops in and takes his son. And his dad, he didn't even hesitate. He jumped into the water to go to his son. Now, this is the ocean, and so that current, it took them 3 miles out. It was already kind of dark, and they couldn't really see. And so his dad and his son, they're out there in the water, and they're waiting for the Coast Guard to find them. And they can hear the helicopter. They can kind of hear boats. And so they're waiting here at like 8 o'clock at night, trying to make sure that people can see them. But they couldn't swim towards each other. They couldn't swim towards the buoys because the current was so strong. And his dad, he wanted to let Chris know that, hey, I'm here. And so he's trying to figure out a way to let his son know that he was here. And he just goes, to infinity. And he heard his son yell out, and beyond. And they did this hour after hour after hour. But soon enough, Chris started to go further and further away. And one time he did it to infinity. He didn't hear anything back. His dad sat in that water until 7 o'clock in the morning. He had not seen his son. And of course, some fishermen got him. He gets on the boat. They call on the Coast Guard. Coast Guard comes out, and as soon as his dad gets on the boat, he goes, did you find my son? Did you find him? And then all of a sudden he heard, and beyond. Chris, he held on to the fact that his dad was always going to look for him, and his dad did not stop looking for him until he found out that he was safe. Your Father in heaven, no matter what cave you are in, he's looking for you. And he's coming for you, and he will not stop until he lets you know that he's ready to pull you out and that you are safe. Your leaders are here to help you know that, and so you can see that. No matter what cave you may be in, just know that he's there. Psalm 23:4 says, even though I walk through the darkest valley, I will fear no evil, for you were with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. Let's pray. God, I just thank you so much for each and every student in here. Lord, no matter what cave